we'd find him the first day. I had no idea it would turn into this.
The search for a Central Texas college student who vanished 4 years ago today, and where loved ones are focusing their search efforts. But first tonight, let's start with this weather that's happening out there, affecting our weekend. Nick.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannon.
Yes, it is continuing to be very damp here tonight with the combination of drizzle and also light rain. This is not adding up to much, but it continues to wet the ground. And of course, every drop is precious, even on a Friday night. And you can see how much of Central Texas is wet right now, especially wet in the Austin metro, where we've seen the greatest concentration of showers and drizzle during the day. And that concentration has gone up here as we've got into the night, as we've seen not just the drizzle, but a little bit more in the way of showers. You can see how much rain we've had today in the hill country. Western hill country, barely any. As you head closer to the metro, though, places like Burnett getting more than 0.2 of an inch of rain, but still just a few hundredths in places like Johnson City. At Camp Mabry in Austin, a little under 0.2 of an inch of rain. AUS at the airport there, a little over 1/10, and closer to 0.2 there in Pflugerville as well. And as you head farther through our eastern counties, the amounts dropped off. So the wettest weather right in the middle, right in the Austin metro. Temperatures outside right now are actually as warm as they've been all day. Our high temperature for the day happening now, we're up to 64. A few hours ago, we were at 63. It's a very slow warming trend here tonight. Still think our overnight low is going to briefly dip down to 62, but really not a lot of temperature changes over the next few hours, and perhaps some subtle warming. We're going to have fog and drizzle. In fact, the fog is going to make visibility get lower as we head through tomorrow morning. This is 7 a.m. Many areas dealing with visibility less than a mile. So if you've got early Saturday morning plans, plan on a foggy start. Maybe a little tough to get around, but between 8 and 10 tomorrow morning, the fog lifts away. Coming up in first warning weather, we'll keep tracking the showers, the drizzle, and the fog, as well as some dry parts of your weekend. It's not going to be raining the whole time, but two fronts next week will bring us more opportunities for rain as well.
All right, Nick, thank you very much. A former Austin area educator and school principal is accused of possessing child pornography. 73-year-old Curtis John Locklear faces a third-degree felony charge. Authorities executed a search warrant yesterday at a residence in the Woodlands. Leander ISD confirmed Locklear was a principal at Blockhouse Elementary School between 1995 and 2008. The Texas Education Agency says he also worked at Georgetown ISD's McCoy Elementary School in 2009. Well, today marks 4 years since the disappearance of Texas State University Jason Landry. Loved ones held a vigil in his honor tonight, where his car was found in Luling. Landry vanished in December of 2020. He was driving from San Marcos to his hometown of Missouri City, Texas, when law enforcement said they found his car totaled. Landry's case has generated a lot of attention online, and now 4 years later, volunteers continue to search the area where his vehicle was found. Here's a look at tonight's vigil for you. Jason's mother was there.
I really thought we'd find him the first day. I had no idea it would turn into this. It's always hard at Christmas time and any time. I believe that Jason's in heaven, so we have the hope and that we know we'll see him in heaven one day. I don't expect to see him on the earth, but we still need to find him.
And there is a $20,000 reward for information that leads to Landry's whereabouts. Austin's mayor and one of his challengers in the mayoral race did not break campaign finance rules. That's according to the Austin Ethics Review Commission. Mayor Kirk Watson and Doug Greco were accused of exceeding the amounts of money they can accept from donors outside of the city. The Ethics Review Commission voted last week to dismiss the complaint against Greco after that was withdrawn. Well, tomorrow is election day for North Austin residents in District 7 after no one candidate in the city council race secured more than 50% of the vote in the general election. So now Gary Bledsoe and Mike Siegel are facing off. The polls are going to open tomorrow. They're going to be open from 7 to 7. As KXAN's Grace Reeder explains, those who do show up and vote are going to pick a leader who will make decisions for all of Austin.
It's Election Day Saturday for folks in North Austin. Mike Siegel and Gary Bledsoe are facing off in a runoff election for Austin City Council District 7. Siegel, a civil rights lawyer and former Austin city attorney, got the most votes in the general election.
And I'm running for city council to make progressive change in our community. I want to take strong action on climate change, build more housing, expand our mass transportation system, and really represent the people of this community.
Trailing him is Bledsoe, a civil rights lawyer and head of the NAACP in Texas.
Well, I've decided to run for District 7 for the Austin City Council because there is a need on the Austin City Council for common sense leadership. And I have a great deal of experience in exemplifying to all that I can engage in public leadership that is common sense leadership.
Political science professor Brian Smith says even though this race is significant, turnout is likely to be low.
This is going to be an especially low turnout election because it is the only race. The mayor avoided a runoff by less than 100 votes. And because of that, we're only going to see one race between two people who are Democrats in a nonpartisan race.
While only District 7 residents will get to vote, the person picked will make decisions for all Austinites on topics like parks and public safety.
And remember, when you aren't voting in local elections, you're also voting for representatives of the future. We look at Greg Kazar. He started in city council. Now he's representing us in the U.S. House of Representatives. So these votes matter, and who represents us is going to be the people who represent us for the future.
Grace Reeder, KXAN News.
And voters living within Austin ISD's boundaries will also go back to the polls tomorrow to pick an at-large school board member. Williamson County could be one step closer to having its own medical examiner's office. Today, County Judge Bill Gravel broke that news during KXAN News at noon.
We actually purchased a facility from TxDOT in Williamson County, Texas. It's a 28-acre piece of property that has over 70,000 square feet. And long term, I believe that that will be where a medical examiner's office is someday in Williamson County, Texas. It was $18 million, which is a lot of money, but when you look proportionally at what things are selling for in that area, it was a great deal. And in leadership, we took advantage of that, in part thinking about our justices of the peace and future needs there for the medical examiner's office.
And Gravel says the county closed on the land just after Thanksgiving. We told you this week the county approved funding to hire 4 death investigators as well. For some context on why that's important, well, the county currently has no medical examiner of its own, so the justices of the peace determine cause and manner of death. So these 4 death investigators are going to help the JPs. Judge Gravel says they could start on the job as soon as January 1st. Governor Greg Abbott wants state lawmakers to tackle water concerns. He says finding sources of water for the growing state remains an issue that needs to be addressed in the next legislative session.
We should not leave this session without ensuring that Texas is water sure at least through the year of 2050. We have the resources, the tools, and the money to get that done, to take water challenges off the table.
And among the ideas floated by the governor is using technology to collect flood water in parts of the state where rain is plentiful and then shipping it to other parts where the resource is in shorter supply. An Austin man is going to prison for 2 years for underreporting $4 million in Bitcoin sales. And he's also making history in doing so. Frank Algren III was sentenced yesterday after pleading guilty in September. The IRS says his conviction is the first criminal tax evasion prosecution centered solely on cryptocurrency. Federal prosecutors say Algren attempted to conceal his sales by transferring Bitcoins between accounts and meeting in person to make a cash sale. They say he also used what are called mixers. Those are tools designed to essentially launder cryptocurrency. Elon Musk wants to make the home of SpaceX, Starbase, its own city. Yesterday, the company sent a letter to request an election in Cameron County to ask voters to incorporate Starbase, which sits near South Padre Island. According to the company, residents of the area submitted the petition. In the letter to the county, Starbase leaders explained incorporating into a city offers the chance to develop the workforce at a higher speed for projects. According to an earlier study by the county, more than 3,400 full-time SpaceX employees and contractors work at the site. The newest class of DPS troopers graduated from the academy today. 130 recruits joined the agency's ranks after 7 months of training. And it comes at a time when the agency is preparing to ask lawmakers for a major investment, an additional 500 commissioned personnel. The new director of the agency says this would help DPS keep up with population growth and an increase in threats in Texas.
Our troopers have seized right at 600 million lethal doses of fentanyl and 65 tons of methamphetamine. in the last 4 years. You know, what we're concerned about is how much did we miss? So we're always trying to keep up.
And Colonel Martin said this week's graduates will fill current vacancies across the state. He says with multiple classes a year, they have been able to keep up, with attrition. A former doctor accused and now indicted of child sexual exploitation. Court documents show investigators say he met the underage teen online and then solicited her to send him nude photos. But the allegations don't stop there. KXAN's Barrett Tryon has the details.
The Department of Justice says between October 2018 and May 2019, Philip Sobash had an online sexually explicit relationship with a minor who lived in Tennessee. Court documents show the two met online on a sugar daddy website. While the girl originally said she was 18, she later said she was underage and sent her license to prove it to Sobash. Over an 8-month period, court documents show, he asked the girl to send sexually explicit photos of herself. In exchange, he gave her thousands of dollars in cash and gifts. Court documents show he said he would keep the images and videos private. However, court documents show he put them all online, including her license. It was part of a larger collection of images of about 70 young women, according to the FBI. Court documents show images of at least 4 other underage girls were also found. The FBI says he primarily targeted females between 15 and 25 years old and say the images were all made for sale. Victims say after they sent photos to Sobash and he posted all their personal information online, including their first and last name, they would be threatened by others to make more for them, according to the FBI. Sobash reportedly used monikers like Discreet Gent and Sugar Daddy online. He texted with victims on one of 2 phones with an 803 area code. The FBI says the reported incidents happened between January 2014 and now. Barrett Tryon, KXAN News.
And we do want to clarify what we said in our 9 p.m. newscast, that Sobash was a doctor in Austin, but he did not practice in Austin. As of right now, federal court records do not show an attorney listed for him. We will reach out when we do see one. The FBI believes there could be more victims. We have a link to contact investigators on KXAN.com. Going in depth, Senator Ted Cruz is part of a bipartisan effort to pass the Take It Down Act. Now, this bill would criminalize the publication of non-consensual intimate imagery, including AI-generated images. It would require social media and other websites to remove such images within 48 hours of receiving notice from the victim. The bill passed the Senate unanimously last week. It's now awaiting a vote in the House. The sight of people walking in the middle of the road on 6th Street could soon come to an end, at least temporarily. The Austin Police Department says it and several other city departments are discussing and looking at options related to the reopening of 6th Street fully to vehicle traffic.
And with a new vision, a new perspective, and a commitment, there can be real change.
Not all business owners, however, think this is a good idea. Some urge the city to consider bringing back vehicle traffic after shootings and other violent episodes started becoming more frequent in the entertainment district. The city has not yet provided a set timeline as to when this pilot would start. All right, well, if you are looking for something to do this weekend, you can check out Dripping Springs' Western Wonderland. The event runs through January 5th at Ranch Park. In addition to a free holiday light trail, you can also buy tickets for ice skating on one of the biggest rinks here in Central Texas.
So on the weekends, we do have a bar open. So what a fun date night to get on the ice with your sweetie. But then beyond that, it's just family time, open 11 to 9 most days. The only day we're going to be closed is Christmas Day.
And there's also a holiday market taking place this weekend.
I don't know if you watched our morning show this morning, Daniel. You probably get to sleep in more than I do with kids around. But our own meteorologist, Kristen Curry, was skating on the ice rink this morning live on KXAN News Today. She did not fall, which is key, right? All you got to do is stay up. It is a very damp evening here this evening with some welcome rain. It's not coming down as heavy as maybe we would like, but it is raining, and that counts for something. It's also very foggy. This is the view from our Indeed camera at the Domain, where we would usually be able to see Q2 Stadium, but we're not. You can barely see some of the lights of the nearby buildings there. It is foggy, it is drizzly, and it's showery. And you can see those showers continuing to move through most of Central Texas right now. Only our most western counties are currently avoiding the rain for the time being. There's actually a cold front to the west of us. This front will be moving east and sort of falling apart a little bit as we get into the weekend, but it's still going to be the source of enough lift to generate some additional showers and even a few thunderstorms, especially for Saturday, but we may get 1 or 2 on Sunday. So that's the weekend. And then we've got another storm that's moving through the western states right now that will produce our best chance of rain for the next week. Higher rainfall totals anyway, and that would come on Monday. So let me take you through the weekend and Monday. And you can see the overnight and morning areas of drizzle, showers, and clouds and fog. The rain coverage and the drizzle coverage does drop as we head through the end of the morning toward the middle of the day. There's still going to be some scattered showers around at noon, turning more isolated in the afternoon, but you're also going to start seeing the sun trying to break through, and that should push temperatures into the mid-70s here tomorrow. Still a chance for a spotty shower Saturday night, so it's not completely dry, but the second half of Saturday does look drier than the first half. Then we get into Sunday, a lot of clouds, some areas of fog to begin the day, and even some drizzle. And then a few spotty showers start to develop late morning through the midday and into the afternoon. So Sunday, while not as potentially wet as Saturday, still has the potential for a little bit of wet weather to pop up later in the day before we dry out here for Sunday evening. And then more rounds of wet weather come through as we head through Monday, especially Monday afternoon and evening. By Monday at 7 p.m., we think most areas along and east of 35 will have picked up a 1/4 inch or more of rain. Still, those lower amounts will be in the hill country. But we're not even done with wet weather yet. We've got more chances for it beyond Monday. So Saturday, 40% rain coverage, but more of us get drizzle, and then 40% of us get more measurable rain, 76. And then 78 on Sunday with more sun and only a 20% chance of rain. Then those chances up to 50% here for Monday. A few showers in the morning, higher rain coverage in the afternoon and evening. So here comes that Pacific storm, bringing us the rain showers and thunderstorms on Monday. Then that clears out and we get just ahead of our next front, more showers and potentially some thunderstorms next Wednesday. But when you add it all up, considering the amount of days that we've got with rain chances, it doesn't add up to as much as you'd think. 1/4 inch to an inch for most of us, a little higher, well to the northeast, and of course those lower amounts in the western hill country here through next Wednesday. Here's a look at our first warning weather 7-day forecast. You can see the impacts of those fronts taking us out of the 70s into the 60s with the first front, and then 50s after the second front with nighttime lows in the 30s.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
A trip to the state championship is on the line for a few area teams. Wimberley is back in the state semifinals, where the season ended in tough fashion for the Texans last year. They came up just short, literally, in 2023. 2024 in Georgetown tonight. Wimberley hoped would produce better results against La Vega. First quarter, no score. Wimberley's Maverick Jacobs runs it in from 13 yards out, 7-0. Texans strike first. Same quarter, same score, though. La Vega's Courtney Parr finding Jabari Thornton, and Thornton just turns on the Jets to hit Pater to tie the game up at 7 after the extra point. Then after a Wimberley fumble on the kickoff, 2 plays later, Bryson Rowland bounces to the outside and runs it in for the score, 14-7 La Vega. A little later, La Vega's Courtney Parr looking for someone. Well, he's got Dalen Pullen over the top for the touchdown. 21-7 Pirates. La Vega just too much for Wimberley. Their season ends in the state semis, 62-35. For the 4th time in the last 5 seasons, Westlake will do battle with North Shore in the playoffs. The two met last year in the state semifinals as well. So Westlake has its chance for revenge tomorrow at Legacy Stadium in Katy.
Obviously, we're going to see if we can't make plays in big-time situations, kind of like we've done before against these guys, and just make a handful, a few more plays. That's it. I'm talking to a football team that, was 17-14 minus the last 5 seconds of the game last year. So I got a football team here that believes they can be in this football game, deserve to be in this football game, expected a year ago to be right back in this football game. And so here we are.
2 o'clock kickoff tomorrow on FanDuel. Check your local listings. Vandergrift had a magical ride through the playoffs, and the Vipers are seeking to extend their stay in the 6A Division II tourney by beating Summer Creek at McLean Stadium in Waco tomorrow night.
You know, it's just interesting to see how a group comes together, how they handle adversity. That's one of the most rewarding parts of my job, is being able, each year is so different. And this group has been super close and has been dead serious about improving and getting better. And you can look at that from our very first game to where we are now.
College volleyball, Texas back in the NCAA tournament. They were in the Sweet 16 in Pennsylvania today, 4 wins away from their 3rd straight national championship. Met up with Creighton. Tightly contested first set. Ella Swindle sets up Madison Skinner for the kill, and Texas takes the first set 26-24. 3rd set, match tied at 1 apiece. Creighton with the kill right there to win that set to take a 2-1 lead, and then match point here for Creighton, and they got it. The Longhorn season comes to an end in the Sweet 16. There will be no three-peat. Creighton beats them in 4, but still a great season for Texas. Major League Baseball, Kyle Tucker was traded today from the Houston Astros to the Chicago Cubs. Tucker, also a former member of the Round Rock Express, spent his entire Major League Baseball career with Houston. He was a 3-time All-Star, won a Gold Glove and a World Series title in 2022. Astros will get 3rd baseman Isaac Paredes and 3rd baseman Cam Smith and pitcher Hayden Wesneski. More sports on KXAN.com.